At this point, we've created an assessment, looked through the different settings that we can manage for that assessment, but the assessment itself is empty. There are no questions populated into it. So what we'll do is head down to Demo Assignment 2 and look for this gear icon over on the right-hand side of the screen. We'll click on that and then click on Questions. This will take us directly to the questions that have already been assigned to this assessment. So if we had already done this, we could come back through and make edits. Or in this case, we see that it's empty and we can start adding questions. First thing I'll draw your attention to here says Add New Question. This link gives you the ability to build a brand new question from scratch. Write it however you want, create whatever algorithmically generated numbers, define the solutions. It's very doable, but it takes some time to learn all of that process. So we're going to save that for a later section of this, a later module of this course. And for now, we're going to focus on searching through existing questions that we want to add to an assessment. In order to do that, we'll look down under this potential question section. And from this drop down, we can see that we have a few different options. We can select all libraries, we can select specific libraries, or we can select assessments. If we select all libraries, that means we'll be searching every question that has ever been created in this platform. If we select libraries, we can narrow things down into particular subject areas. And what I really like about this is if we select assessments, you can look just at the questions in an assessment that you've already created in this course and choose questions from that assessment. So say you wanted to build a quiz based off previous homework assignments, you could use that to filter down the questions you want to look at, just see those questions and pull them in. And we'll take a look at how we would do these. So all libraries, again, would search all questions. We can do that. Or we can select specific libraries. Questions are hopefully assigned correctly under particular courses and topics. So for instance, we wanted some integral problems in calculus. We could narrow that down even more to integration rules. And then we could choose one or more libraries here that we want to search. Once we've selected all of the libraries that we think would associate well with the questions that we're looking for, we can select Use Libraries. So now we're looking in specific libraries. We can enter a search term here. So we could say substitution or whatever other search term we want to search for. And the system will search. This is dependent on the people who created these questions using the same language that you're thinking about. Substitution obviously could apply to a lot of different scenarios, algebraic substitution, trig substitution, but it searches for that keyword in the title of the question. You can also leave that field blank and click search, and it will just show you all questions contained in these libraries. Once you've completed that search though, you can preview questions. The ones that you decide you like, you can check, and you'll see that it checks the box in this window and in the original window. So as we're going through, we can continue to sort through these questions, only checking the questions that we like and want to include. You can demo them, you can answer them. If they have different resources included with them, we can navigate back up a bit. This one has a video with closed captioning icon, which tells us this has video as question help. So if you included those question help tools in your settings, that's something that would be available to students when they access this question. So you can watch that video, see if you think that's a good help tool. Once you've decided on the questions that you want to include, down at the bottom of the screen, you can click Add. And those questions will be automatically added up above. Once you add a question to your assignment, there are settings you can change for the individual questions. You can also add duplicates of a question since the values are likely algorithmically generated. If you want that same question type to appear multiple times, you can click the checkbox next to that question, go into change settings, and you can add however many copies of that question that you want, and then click save settings. That'll automatically populate your assignment with duplicates of that question. The other thing that you can do is group questions. So you can pool 2 or more questions into a group by checking those boxes and then clicking group. This works in any type of assignment, whether you're creating a homework, quiz, or exam assignment. There's no limitation on the assignment type that allows this. And then once you have those questions pooled together, you can tell the system how many questions you want to pick from that pool. So obviously I have 2 questions here, but maybe if I had a pool of 8 or 10 questions, I could say that I wanted to select 3 of those problems with or without replacement. Or you could obviously just select a single question. So you can have pooling on any type of assignment, whether it's homework, quiz, or exam. And I also mentioned that instead of searching libraries, you can search past assignments that you've already created in this course. So you can't search assessments from other classes, but any assessment already created in this same MyOpenMath course shell. I went ahead and populated some questions into demo assignment 1 just so we can see how this works. You could select from 1 or more assignments. If there were multiple assignments listed here, you could choose to search within all of those and then click Use Assessments. And what would be generated for us would be all of the questions contained in those assignments. Since we already have a search term in here, I'm going to get rid of that and just click Search so that we see all of the questions included in those assessments we selected. This again just helps with filtering down the questions if we want to reuse questions in a later assessment. Now I could choose questions from this assessment to add to my new one. Once you've added all of the questions, created groups, modified any settings you might want to change, you want to be sure to click Done, or you can preview the questions again, obviously. But once you click Done, your assignment will be saved. And if you ever want to demo that assignment or practice that assignment, review that one more time, you can come back and just click on the assignment title itself. And that will open up a student or teacher preview version for you to practice and explore and see what that student experience would be like as they work through that assignment. And then again, if you want to come back and make make edits to any of the questions that you included or to the settings, you can always use this gear icon to head back to that appropriate screen and make those changes.